Selling vape products here in Massachusetts is still illegal as researchers race to determine whether or not vaping nicotine and cannabis products is conclusively the cause of lung illnesses that have skyrocketed nationwide. But the actual act of vaping is still legal. You won't get arrested, but you could risk getting thrown out of your home if you live in an apartment. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo explores how vaping is forcing apartments to change their anti-smoking policies and what can happen if they don't.
Dosing with vaping is the safest way we've found for Tim.
After years of suffering from chronic pain, Tim Wynandy began vaping medical marijuana to alleviate his symptoms. His wife Francine doesn't have a prescription, but says vaping the now legal cannabis helps her anxiety and other emotional problems. But Francine says their vaping has created problems with the apartment complex they lived in for decades, Sutton Place.
They're saying vaping and smoking are the same thing, and they're not.
Over the summer, the Wynandys were served an eviction notice by the complex, alleging they violated their non-smoking policy and breached the quiet enjoyment of their neighbors by vaping. But the Wynandys claim their renter's agreement doesn't mention vaping at all.
No. Not a word. Vaping is using heat to move over the marijuana and take moisture out of the marijuana that holds the chemicals needed, and what you inhale is that moisture. The marijuana itself is never burned.
Western Mass News obtained their tenant agreement from court documents and found it doesn't mention vaping specifically. We showed Sutton Place's contract to attorney Scott Foster, who says it reflects the state's old definition of smoking.
It was a cigarette or a pipe or cigar that was lit or lighted, and the new definition includes e-cigarettes and vaping specifically.
The state adopted the new definition in 2018, but according to the Wynandys agreement they re-signed in 2019.
This is dated after the law was changed. That should have been updated. That leads to confusion.
Confusion, yes, but Foster believes the argument that smoking and vaping are different is shaky at best when it comes to allowing it in an apartment.
It's a pretty technical argument for a tenant to put forward that definitely goes against the spirit of what the no smoking policy was set up to protect.
Especially when a neighbor complains about it.
You have a right to the quiet enjoyment of your premises.
It sounds like a tenant's right to quiet enjoyment almost supersedes a tenant's right to smoke or vape in their apartment.
They certainly can be in conflict with one another.
Western Mass News took a poll of 12 non-Section 8 apartment complexes around the area. We found 5 allowed smoking and vaping in their units. 7 reported to have no smoking and vaping policies, but only 3 actually changed their language to include vaping products to match the state's new definition of smoking.
I think it's a good idea to always have your policies at a local level or an individual apartment level be consistent with what the state law now reads.
Or else, Foster says a property owner could find themselves in a legal battle like the Wynandys, who believed vaping was okay in their apartment. More than okay, they say, given the alternative.
The fact that this can keep my husband off of opioids and that anybody would stop that because of a smell is not right.
According to court documents, the case against the Wynandys was dismissed earlier this month. But the couple tells us they chose to move out anyway, no longer feeling welcome in the complex they called home for years.
When I was a travel agent and I was bringing in $4,000 a month, Sutton Place was my best friend. I'm not that person anymore. I'm marginalized now.
In Agawam, Audrey Russo, Western Mass News.
Western Mass News spoke with the lawyer for Sutton Place over the phone, but they did not make a statement on the record.